everybody, and welcome to Bishop Noel. Our Warrior Nation across the country is joining us live from the Bishop Noel Fieldhouse. And we got a great crowd here at the big event, and it's great to be back. With me is Mary Ellen O'Neill, our Director of Advancement, and we welcome everybody who's watching across the country and watching here at the Noel Fieldhouse. Mary Ellen, it's great to have everybody back in after 2 years of COVID.
It is. After 2 years, it was kind of sad not having everybody in the Fieldhouse every year. And so we're thrilled to have everybody back home at Bishop Noel.
And so what we're doing tonight is the big event. The people at home have been contributing by bidding against some of the people who are here in the room. They're making donations online, and we thank you for doing that. And coming up here in a short while, at 9 o'clock, is our primary deadline for the close of bidding for most of our items.
Right. That should be in about, 15, 20 minutes. So there's a lot of great items. I think you should keep bidding.
We got a little reverb here. Maybe our mics are too close. We could hear it for those in the room here. So if you are at home and you want to bid, or if you're in the room here and you want to bid, we ask you to go to bigevent2022.givesmart.com. That's bigevent2022.givesmart.com. And you can donate from the site, or you can bid. And like you say, we've got just about 15 more minutes before our auction items close. All of the items other than 1 through 10. The premium items will close at 9:30. So get ready to press that button, and there's some beautiful prizes out there.
If you're a baseball fan, we've got a number of Sox tickets that are available for bidding. We have some Cubs tickets. We have football. We have a Notre Dame, Ohio State. We got a pair of tickets for that game. So for sports fans, there's some great items. There are several wonderful golf packages that anybody would like if you're a golfer.
And the premium package at 9:30 is the North Shore Country Club package.
Right.
That's an awesome course, a very historic course. And of course, at the 9 o'clock items, you got Ravenslow Country Club in Homewood. You got beautiful,
Right.
You get courses right here in the region: Briar Ridge, Lost Marsh. You got Wicker Park, and our own golf outing at Innsbrook Country Club.
Right.
So, great golf. There's baseball.
If you're a wine drinker, we have some great wine packages. There's some spirits. There's some great party packages, I say.
Yeah. So it's a great thing. And so, Mary Ellen, talk a little bit about when people are at home bidding and they're contributing to this cause. Where does it go?
It all goes to student scholarships. We have this year 482 students, and many of their families sacrificed quite a bit to send their children to Bishop Noel for an education. So our scholarship fund is critical to keeping up the enrollment that we have enjoyed so many years here at Bishop Noel.
Yeah. And so we have close to 200 people in the room here today, and we have Mark Clossie here from our board, class of 76. Mark.
Class of 76. Oh. The best class.
So we got the 76 here emulating College Game Day for us. Fortunately, there are no bad taste signs.
No.
And we thank all the 76ers for being out. It's a great class. They get great representation. We have other classes that are very loyal to Noel too, and our alumni make such a big difference.
It really does. Tonight, the class of 1982 is celebrating their 40th reunion here at the big event.
We got to get the class of 82 to come up behind us here and cheer us on.
They've got about 45 people here tonight.
Yeah. So again, we're probably about 14 minutes away from the bid closing on the 9 o'clock items. Some really good prices are available. Mary Ellen mentioned those White Sox tickets. They're really a bargain for what you're going to get. We've got some gift certificates for restaurants if you like food. There's everything from donuts to Mexican food to Cafe Borgia to,
There's Ciao Bella, Cafe Borgia, Theo's. If you are a region fan, you'll appreciate the Munster Donut Basket. You get a free dozen donuts a month for a whole year. plus a lot of other goodies in the package.
That's a great, everybody loves Munster donuts. There's coffee in there, I think.
There's coffee, there's tea, there's mugs, and there's donut certificates.
Our friends at the Cube Sports Complex, they have the Air Cube, which is the trampoline park and the jumping. And we have the Ice Cube, which is the skating rink where our Knoll Warriors hockey team plays.
Right.
And there are prizes there for if you want to have a party for your kids or whatever. You got the Air Cube and you got the Ice Cube. So you got an hour of time and all expenses paid for the group that would be participating. So go to bigevent2022.givesmart.com and you can look up any of these items underneath where it says to look under the items there on the big event page. We have courtesy of the City of Hammond. We got some VIP passes for the concerts that are at the Festival of the Lakes, the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We've got Toby Keith,
Leonard
Skinner, and Counting Crows.
Counting Crows
are there. So we got some VIP passes for that and some mega passes for the week. There's two items. Each has 4 tickets, 4 mega passes, which is an unlimited number of carnival rides any one of those 5 days of the carnival. So you got kids, you want to bring them to the carnival, bring them on in. Just trying to highlight some of the things that are going to be closing off here at just a little bit over 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
Beautiful Blackhawks photograph by one of our alums, Jim Karczewski, God rest his soul. It was taken after the 2010 Stanley Cup Championship of the Skyline, City of Chicago. If you have a rec room, what's that?
A big
wall. Put it on. It's a beautiful frame. We got some other art from Pete Doherty, the Chicago Skyline. We got a painting from vintage 1960s Chicago Bears of Gale Sayers running the ball. George Hallis, watching. Some very cool prizes there. There's some vinyl, vintage vinyl for those of you who are getting your phonographs ready and the turntables going. That's good. There's some sports memorabilia, a lot of Chicago pro sports teams, autographed prizes, etc. And White Sox, Cubs, Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, some Notre Dame stuff in there too.
Sure.
You got a lot of that going on. So, very good prizes. Still, there's more than 110 of these that are being auctioned off tonight. So, a great opportunity to help Bishop Knoll and to pick up some prizes along the way.
Everything has been donated, so everything goes to our scholarship fund. Everything that you take home will help us.
Yeah. You can get everything from a Bud Light dartboard to you can get meditation sessions. You can get
Gotta get a massage.
The Float 60 Northwest Indiana Experience.
The Bears photo.
The Bears photo is at $55 right now. It's a vintage print there. There are portrait studio settings. You can get that. So, we mentioned earlier that this is 40 years ago this month, the first Emporium was held.
That's right.
With Father Connolly and the development director at the time, Mr. Dennis Fetch, working with the Mothers Club and the Fathers Club at Bishop Knoll, put on the first of what was then called the Emporium. And that event has morphed. Is run annually and has morphed its way into what we now call the big event. Same concept, just a different approach. And every year we raise tens of thousands of dollars to give families the opportunity to give their children a Bishop Knoll education that is so highly coveted.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we're doing it again tonight.
We're just glad we're all back together again.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've been able to do this in the company of one another. So a great night to be a Warrior, and I'm just looking to see if there's any other things breaking. The other thing is we have some prizes that can apply to people who are watching in different parts of the country. We have a restaurant in Phoenix, Enchiladas, that has a gift certificate there. So if you're a snowbird that goes to Phoenix, or if you live in the valley, that's available to bid on in the next 8 minutes. And it's we have Smoky Bones, which is a chain that's in, I think, 15 different states.
Mostly in the southeast.
Southeast, East Coast, and in the Midwest.
Indianapolis. Too.
There's they opened a new one in Avon just recently by Indianapolis. There's Ohio, Pennsylvania. So there's about 5 dozen restaurants, scattered throughout the East and the Midwest. So it's a good good buy there on the site. Help Noel in the process. We 2 years ago when we first were faced with COVID, we were facing an April event, and in March everything kind of broke down. So the team that Mary Ellen puts together and is one of the quarterbacks here for this event is Julie Sandoval from the class of '82, Jen Florak. Jen's on our communications team and part of our advancement team. And everybody pivoted very quickly, did a great job. And that event, done virtually only for the first time, thanks to your generosity, all of our Bishop Knoll stakeholders made very close to $70,000.
Yes.
And
one of our best years.
So that is terrific. So we're getting down to 7 minutes or so until about 100 of our items come off the board. And so I hope you're all being generous, taking a look at those prizes. And looks like the numbers are creeping up a little bit here and there. Golf at North Shore went up to $650. The Sanibel Island condo, that's a beautiful place.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Offered to us annually by Mark and Sharon Clossy. We appreciate their generosity. That's at $3,500 right now for a week.
Okay.
So that you got a half hour plus on that one. The B&I Fieldhouse sponsorship. Talk about that.
People have the opportunity to honor a family member, honor their class, honor someone by making a donation to Bishop Knoll, and we name the Fieldhouse in your name for 1 year. Right now, it's hanging over there, and just went up. It went up in February.
Yeah. So the family of Armando and Louise Garcia, thanks to the generosity of their children, secured the title, the naming rights of the Fieldhouse for 1 year, in honor of their parents.
Yes.
And our group here is having a good time. Looks like we got a lot of people lining up to get their pictures taken. The class of '82 is lining up. Let's hear it for the class of '82. Hey.
Off the wagon.
Got Dwayne Randall in the house here. So, off the wagon. Off the wagon. That comes up in a half hour till 9. That's one of the 9:30 items. It's a value. You get the wagon too.
You get the wagon.
And about $1,200 worth of liquor in it.
Yes. This is from the Bishop Knoll administrative team and staff, and everybody donates a bottle of premium liquor, and there's some great things in that wagon. There's some great bottles of spirits in that wagon. And
if you can't decide, if you go back and forth between Grey Goose and Tito's, for instance, you get them both.
Right.
So that's a great prize.
Premium scotches, whiskeys, bourbons, and plus some nice liqueurs.
And let's talk briefly. I mean, we have there's 2 pierogi packages here. One item is potato pierogi, the other is sauerkraut. The potatoes are going in the 9:30 premium.
Right.
The sauerkrauts are going now here in the next 4 minutes. Homemade by Bishop Knoll's Polish grandmother, Teresa Radzewicki, former employee, mother and grandmother of Knoll students over the years.
Right.
She's just a gem, and those are back on popular demand after last year's.
Oh yeah, and she makes them and brings them to our main office every once in a while, and it's a treat for us.
So God bless you, Teresa, and thank you for your contributions, and thanks to all of our sponsors and donors. We have many of them who contribute. We couldn't do this without them. Our loyal alumni and friends. Some are parents. Some are just friends, and in the community. and they make a big difference and help us raise the scholarship money for our students, because most of our students do receive financial assistance in one way, shape, or form, including the scholarships that are generated from the big event. So, we're 101 years now, going strong. We celebrated our centennial a year ago, and our job here is to just keep the mission alive and keep Bishop Knoll thriving for generations to come.
Absolutely.
So, well, Mary Ellen, it's getting down to the last couple minutes here. Any final words for our people out there watching throughout the country?
We just ask for your support, and in turn, with these auction items, you'll get some really nice bottles of wine or tickets to a game. So please come out and support us tonight.
Yeah, we thank you for all the support, and I imagine there's somebody out there right now looking at their watch or their iPhone, because you've got to follow the official iPhone time, right? And getting ready to push that button. They want to be the last one in before they close at 9 o'clock. So, again, if you are bidding on any of the online items other than those numbered 1 through 10, it's closing up in here just
Gotta look at my
2 minutes or so.
Okay.
And any other final words of wisdom for him?
I'm just going to see what my husband is doing to our bank account.
To your
tonight.
bank account? Kevin O'Neill, what are you doing to the bank account? We got to worry about that. So, but anyway, thank you so much, and Mary Ellen, thanks for joining us here. We're gonna talk to one of our board members here in a few minutes, and appreciate all your hard work once again. Mary Ellen's team. We got Mary Ellen as Director of Advancement, Julie Sandoval, who works hard at this event and does all of our events at Bishop Knoll. Jen Florak, part of the team, and all of our faculty and staff. It's a great faculty.
Everybody has pitched in, really. It's been a great effort, a great team effort.
Great
it's been
team.
a fun couple of weeks.
It has. And we're anxious to see the bottom line, but it's also just great to see all the people here in the room together.
Right.
So thanks, Mary Ellen.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Paul.
And we're going to bring Dave Skabinski up here
Okay.
In a second. Hopefully he's nearby. And you can go ahead and just set that and appreciate that. And in the meantime, we just want to invite all of our, in the last minute here, got a minute to go before we close the first closing of items for the bidding tonight. Class of 82 is over in the corner there. They're getting pictures and making some noise. So I'm going to mention some of these other prizes here that are coming up in the next half hour. We have the Blackstone 28-inch flat iron grill, which is a great prize. It comes not only with the grill but also grilling accessories, a $100 gift card to Snake River Farms, and we want to thank Renee and Craig Nagneman for that donation. And that's coming up at 8:30. At 9:30. We're on Central Time here, depending on where you're watching from. And we also have the Notre Dame Ohio State tickets, half hour to go. They're currently at $505. That game played on September 3rd in Columbus, Labor Day weekend, will feature two of the premier college football programs in the country. Both of them will be highly ranked. One or two of them probably will be in the top 5 in the country. But Notre Dame and Ohio State, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's new head coach, will be making his regular season debut, and it's going to be coaching against his alma mater. So that's one of them. That's going at 9:30, and it has reached 9 o'clock. So the silent auction for those items is closed. Now items 1 through 10 are still available. We mentioned Off the Wagon. If you go online, you can look at all of the assortment of favorite high-end liquors. They're all listed there on the website. Again, it's big event 2022.givesmart.com. You can look under the items there. And Off the Wagon is a $1,200 plus value, and it's going for $11.15 right now. So that's a hot item. If you're in the building and you win it, you can roll the wagon right to your car and take it home. If you're not, we have to arrange pickup for it. It's a big one. Also, the golfer up at North Shore Country Club up in Glenview, north of the city. Very historic course. Golf for 3 to join our host for that, George and Mary Fitzpatrick. George will golf with you and have 3 guests with him. That's a beautiful historic course. So, hey, Mary Ellen, when you can, if you could find Dave Skabinski to come up and join me. Sorry about that. We're doing everybody's having such a good time here. Homemade pierogi, the 930 potato pierogi are up to $320 for 150 of them. Last year they went even higher. It was a great prize. We got over $1,000 for the BNI Fieldhouse sponsorship for 1 year. So that's available until 9:30, as is the week stay at the Sanibel Island condo. That's up to $3,500 right there. I've been there. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. And going for fine. So the items above number 10, all the silent auction items have closed now. And the remaining items are the 1 through 10s, the premier items, which we just had spoken about. So I see Dave running. Dave's running. And here he comes. Have a seat, Dave. I'm calling your name. So
we were reminiscing about WJOB.
That's right.
My dad's old polka show.
Tell those who are familiar with the old-time JOB and the Polish Cavalcade, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about your dad real quick.
So WJOB has phenomenal radio history. It started at the earliest days prior to the Depression. And one of the pieces of great radio history at WJOB was there was a gentleman named Eddie Oskerko. And back in, I think it was about 1929 or 1930, he started a show called the Polish Variety Hour. 30 years later, a gentleman that owns the famous Cavalier Inn in Northampton, Wally Kaspricki, if we say it correctly, Mr. Kaspricki knew my dad well, and he, on a Friday night, told Dad, I want to introduce you to someone tomorrow. And the next day, my dad showed up. They went to WJOB, and unannounced to my dad, he did a audition for the radio. And the next day he was on the air, and he never left for 49 years and 9 months.
That's awesome.
So it was a great time.
And so we should, by way of introduction, which I may have been remiss in, your father was Wally Skabinski.
Absolutely.
And sitting next to me is Dave Skabinski, Bishop Knoll class of 1976.
Yes, sir.
And a member of our school board here at Bishop Knoll. So Dave, thanks for coming out all the way from the West Coast to join us.
Absolutely.
Dave,
love to be here.
Dave resides in Southern California, and so tell me, why does a guy from Southern California come and dedicate his time and volunteer his time to serve on our school board as you so admirably do?
It's real simple, and I'll get emotional about it. Bishop Knoll was a phenomenal place for me. I spent 11 years in major college basketball, and the pivotal moment that got me started in that was when John Boblick cut me from the freshman team my freshman year at Bishop Knoll, but asked me, he was my older sister Darlene, who's also been a teacher in Northwest Indiana, worked for the Archdiocese. John and Darlene were classmates at Bishop Knoll. And he had the kindness in his heart when he cut me. He said, but your best buddies are all going to be on the team. Why don't you hang out as my assistant? And that parlayed into working for Coach Bradkey, Coach Vlasic, Coach King, Coach Anderson. I could go on. And that eventually got me a chance to work for Bob Knight at Indiana and then coaching for years after that. So Bishop Knoll, from a extracurricular sports program, for a kid that wasn't very athletic, I had this tremendous opportunity. But also I think back to the tremendous baseline of education I got here. And I could go through those names, Mrs. Lemire, Mr. Peichel, you could just go on and on. The tremendous education I got, and what I feel so important about is what I learned from Bishop Knoll and from my own mother and father was that you always need to give something back. And when Bishop Knoll gave me that great foundation, and when you called me, Paul, with Mark Clossy, one of my classmates from Bishop Knoll, about joining the board, it was a no-brainer. It was an opportunity to give back to this great, tremendous place that gave me so much, both educationally and outside of education. And I just love what Bishop Knoll is doing today.
Well, thank you very much for the service that you provide, for the engagement you bring, and I can relate to the feeling you have as a graduate a year later than you. What Knoll did to me, and for my 6 children who all attended Bishop Knoll.
Well, you think about it, Paul. I think a place like Bishop Knoll is even more important than it was when we were here. And the reason is there are so many different things that kids can explore, that the options are so much greater. And so we need, and I love what you and our principal are doing, because we are giving a very broad-based but rich experience to the kids. And that prepares them for whatever future they want to have. And I feel like Bishop Knoll did that for me, but I think it's harder to do now because of all the things they have. We have STEM lab here and the STEAM lab here at Bishop Knoll today. That wasn't even a concept back when we were in school. So what I love about Bishop Knoll today is we are preparing these kids to pursue the future they want to have, and that they have the skills and education to do what they want to do.
And I appreciate you mentioning our principal, Lorenza Hada-Pastrick. Lorenza, will be hearing from her shortly, a little bit later here on our live stream, and as she also addresses the crowd. So talk about an event like this. I mean, you do your volunteer work for the board and offer, great insight and, bring an acumen to the table when we discuss our issues with the board. But coming to a night like this, I mean, the importance of our stakeholders giving back, maybe you could address that a little bit.
Well, what's fun is you come back to an event and you start conversations as though we were here yesterday, and yet I may not have seen anybody from last year's event. And I think this is my dad raised a lot of money over the years, and he always said you have to build friendships before you raise funds. And I've always thought about that. And so with all the different stakeholders, we've got alumni here. I've just been having a 20-minute reminiscence with our board chair's father tonight, who I'd never met before, who was a longtime drummer in polka bands. And so I'm making this connection with Jeff Sapowski. I've met his dad, and we're having this great reminiscence. So when you think about all the stakeholders that are in an event like this, the younger alums that you're meeting, heck, we're starting to meet the children of some of our classmates that have come through Bishop Knoll. It just gives a lot of energy to the school, and it keeps us fresh, and it keeps it a robust place for kids and for parents to send their kids.
And just a friendly reminder, so on those premium items, you got about 20 minutes to hit the button. We got Sanibel Island Condo, the BNI Fieldhouse sponsorship, those homemade potato pierogies, and Mrs. Radzwicki does it's an amazing job there. Golf at the North Shore Country Club in Glenview, the Off the Wagon Liquor Basket, Notre Dame Ohio State tickets, the grill, the Blackstone Grill, and those are all coming up here in now less than 20 minutes. So last chance to bid on items here coming up. So excuse me. Tell us about you've done some board work in Southern California that has helped set the table for what you're doing here with us.
Sure. Probably the greatest thing I've done in my life, I would say, is for 10 years I was on the board, and for the first 5 of those I was the board chair at a school called Verbum Dei High School in Watts, the Word of God. And Verbum Dei is in one of the toughest neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Folks, get this, 70% of young men in that neighborhood drop out of high school a year. And what I feel great about was I was invited to help save the school from closing years ago, almost 20 years ago. And what we were able to do was raise funds and start a very innovative program that was based out of the old Pilsen district in Chicago, the Cristo Rey School program.
Okay.
Where the young men work one day a week in an entry-level white-collar job to have a chance to see what a different future could be. And I always think about those young men, and people say people should pull themselves up by the bootstraps. What I told our board when I was the board chair, these kids were willing to go to work one day a week and turn over their compensation that companies gave for that time to offset a significant portion of their tuition. And so from that experience, what I realized was these kids from an environment that was riddled with lack of education, lack of finances, a lot of crime. Get this, Paul, just 3 years ago, a kid from Watts, from Verbum Day, was a Rhodes Scholar. I take great pride in the fact that 20 years ago I played my role in keeping that school open. Today, 99% of the young men graduate from high school, 98% go on to some level of college education, when their peers are dropping out at 70%. So what I learned about how we could find ways to better educate young men and allow them to move on to the careers of their choice. When you contacted me to join Bishop Noll's board, I said, boy, if I can play some small role in helping us keep Bishop Noll vibrant, I would love to do it. So I'm really pleased that you asked me to come on board the board 3 years ago.
And we are grateful for your service. And, you know, you mentioned Mark Clossie, your classmate here, and the class of 76, you got, you talk about reconnecting with them. I mean, you got a very good turnout. I don't know how many of them are here tonight.
Got over a dozen people here tonight. I know other people. I talked to one of my best friends from Bishop Noll, Mike Giannini today. He lives down in North Carolina. And, I know a lot of people are watching in and hopefully contributing tonight, even some of my siblings. So I encourage everybody, Bishop Noll needs you. It takes a lot of stakeholders to make a school like Bishop Noll thrive, and we need you, and we need you to bid. So I'm going to do a little bit of Paul's work here. I'm going to ask you to come online, put in some more bids, see if we can help the school out, because every dime from the proceeds from tonight help a student come to Bishop Noll through tuition assistance. And there's nothing more we can do for a young person than give them that sense of hope through education. So if you can be of help in helping us with our mission tonight, raising money, we would love for you to do that.
And, we hear frequently people say, well, it's not the same as it was when I was here. Well, no, it isn't. But the students today have the same kind of dreams that you and I had, when we were that age. And in providing that opportunity and that future, for them is so crucial.
Well, and it's different because it's also, to some degree, I think it's even more complex. And so it's incumbent on us to help these kids to make sure they have a strong educational foundation, the extracurricular foundation. I'm just amazed at all the things kids are doing here at Bishop Noll. I was looking at student art in the hallway, and it's fun to see that kind of creative thing come out. But then I think also, in a society where people are conflicted about what's good and not so good, I think the spiritual grounding that Bishop Noll gives our young students is phenomenal to allow them to know what's right and wrong and how to get a good and prosperous life in the future. And so all those components of a Bishop Noll education are important.
And you mentioned, Dave, the artwork you were looking at. Part of that artwork is the ceramics that were produced from the brand new kiln, the kiln that's in our new Stream Lab. So it's all part of the big picture. And, that was through that Stream Lab was, renovated and put into play after the vision of Principal Pastrick here at Noll, but through the generosity of our stakeholders, our alumni and family and friends.
No, absolutely. And I can tell you, folks, sitting in on board meetings, I have this unique view as an alumnus to see the passion, because of COVID the last 2 years, the compassion of our principal and the entire school community, how they rallied around and were prepared in many ways because of modern technologies to help our students learn during the last 2 years. So I get to see up close as a board member this passion and the dedication to education that our faculty and staff bring. And I just love to hear what they're all doing and how hard they work. and the benefits that come from that. And I have to ask you again, if you can help us out, it'll go a long way, because I can also tell you, Paul is a phenomenal custodian of our mission, and our CFO is a phenomenal manager of budget.
And that's Renee Nagdeman, our business manager and chief financial officer. Yeah. And Renee does a great job. We have a great team here. It's
absolutely
top to bottom. We have very, very dedicated teachers. I mean, the faculty is outstanding. We have a number of them with us tonight here. Also celebrating and having the passion to provide for their students as well. And so top to bottom, it's a team. Everybody has to pull together.
Absolutely. And I think that is the consistency from back when we were here to today. I think of how frugally the budget, folks, I was the manager and the trainer for the sports program. I used to get out of school early on Fridays, on game days, on Friday night, because Coach Vlasic and I went out there and we did the striping of the field to make sure it was ready for a football game. There weren't a lot of extra people around and a lot of extra monies in the budget, and yet we had, heck, in my year, we were undefeated in football that year. I still believe we were state champs that season. Phenomenal experiences, and that's what I just love about the Bishop Knoll family. Everybody always pitches in. My mom and dad were involved in the Mother's Club and the Father's Club. My dad was an usher at the sports games and everything. And that is part of just being part of the community at Bishop Knoll. And I encourage you to send your kids here if you're considering what your school choices are, because it is truly a community. You just don't tell the kids to go to school and expect someone else to do it. You'll become part of Bishop Knoll, you and your children, and I think it'll be a great opportunity for your family.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Dave. And you mentioned some names there going back to Coach Vlasic and Coach Anderson and Coach Bradkey, Coach King. Some great names. What a legacy, too. It was just
I was listening to WJOB driving over this evening, and they've got some kind of a tailgate show on from Griffith. And the announcers mentioned that Coach Bradkey was there. Yeah. That evidently, whenever they do these, he's there. And I'm anxious to find a Friday when I can go and say hello to him, because he gave me one of my other breaks.
Well, Dan McNeil, who is he's the primary guy on the show there. That's his father-in-law.
Is that right?
Yeah, and they also might be Bob Bradkey, Coach's son too.
Wow.
So it could be so.
Well, Coach Bradkey was phenomenal to me. Folks, I could go down the names of the teachers and the coaches, Don Civilich and Don Sebastian and Coach Civilich. The reason I can remember the names is the impact they had on my life. And all these great teachers, Mrs. Zach and Mr. Hedelius. I get this, folks. In 1974, when I was a sophomore at Bishop Knoll in biology class, Mr. Hedelius talked about global warming and the impact of fossil fuels on the world. That was in 1974. And I connected with him on LinkedIn recently to let him know that I studied biology at Indiana University because of the impact he had on me as a sophomore at Bishop Knoll.
And now you have a different perspective on the world's problems.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, it's amazing how that surfaces and
it all comes around.
How he had the vision. Once again, we got less than 10 minutes now, or about 10 minutes. Sanibel Island Condo still available. BNI Fieldhouse sponsorship still available. Homemade potato pierogies, 150 of them, still available. Golf at North Shore Country Club up in Glenview. That's up to 750. That's a big one. The Liquor Wagon, 11:15 right now. That's still available. Notre Dame, Ohio State tickets for the big game on September 3rd in Columbus, Ohio. 625, but still available. And then the 28-inch flat iron Blackstone grill, still available. It's at $600 right now. And that is still available.
Paul, I saw it's still a steal at $240 for the handmade sauerkraut pierogi. So folks, all the Polish people on the air tonight, check in for that. That's still a deal for all those great handmade pierogis.
And I tell you, it's a lot less than what they went for last year. I don't want to scare anybody away what they went for last year, but it's
well,
there.
The potato at $3.20 and the sauerkraut are way better in my opinion. So we got to get that price up there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, in the few minutes we have left here before we send you back to your classmates, what else might you want to tell us?
I just go back to the same thing when, I even think about the opportunities that were lost when I was here for me. I wish I would have gone to more of the plays. I know that there's a performing arts thing going on this weekend, and Marianne O'Neill, our head of fundraising, let me know, or someone at Bishop Knoll let me know today that may be available to stream on Sunday. I just think about the wide array of things that kids at Bishop Knoll have an opportunity to explore and where you can find your place. And that's what happened to me. I tried out for freshman football, and when my classmate Greg Cataldi mauled me the first time on the field, and I realized this is a bad idea. I was 5'1" and maybe 90 pounds. And then when Coach Boblick cut me because I had very little talent and very little athletic ability, and yet I found my way to be a major college basketball coach so many years later. I worked because of my friend and a classmate a year older than me, Robert Porras, from East Chicago, from the Harbor. He got us jobs with the New England Patriots in 1975. These don't happen everywhere. But at Bishop Knoll, you can explore and gain the confidence as a young person to see what your skills can do and throw yourself into something new. And with the wide variety of academic and extracurricular and other programs here at Knoll, I just think I encourage anyone that's got a grandchild or child considering high school, think about Bishop Knoll. You become part of a family. And to all of our stakeholders, if you can contribute tonight to help further the mission, you're doing something good that you can be proud of. And I just invite you to give what you can.
I have a similar story about, you talked about getting cut by Coach Boblick and, getting hit by Greg Cataldi. I played basketball my freshman year. I wasn't very good. Back then we had a freshman A, freshman B. I was mostly B. Maybe played an occasional freshman A game, I don't know. But so sophomore year I go out. I love basketball. It's a great game. And Coach Luketic, who was our JV coach at the time under Coach King, I was the last guy cut from the team. And it was between Chuck Lira and myself. And Coach Luketic made the right choice. Chuck was a better player. And I'll never forget it, though, because he, instead of just posting the names on a bulletin board somewhere, he came and got me out of class. And he asked me if I would stay on with the team and take statistics. And so I did. I was grateful to it. I became a statistician for 3 years. And then I also went to sign up to do something extracurricular. I signed up for the Journal. I went on to college. I graduated and ended up being a sports writer. And, in college I worked in the sports information department after dealing with statistics all the time. Right. And it's just, the opportunities that presented themselves here on the rebound, so to speak, not just to use a bad basketball cliche, but, made a big difference. And Coach Luketic was just a great guy. And, see his daughter Jennifer here today.
No, all these great people. I mean, I still remember there was a coach back then that was Coach Bradkey's assistant, Ray Zawada. Great guys, just loved basketball. I still remember he had this great quote. I can still remember teachers teaching me these things. He had this great quote that said, "The strong take from the weak, and the quick take from the strong." And when I was a college basketball coach, I always said, I want quickness and speed over strength. Because Coach Zawada said, you always win with quickness and speed. And he was always right. Years later, folks, I worked with and was with Coach Knight in Bloomington with the great Isaiah Thomas. And from the first time I saw him step on a court, I said, Coach Zawada was right, because Isaiah had phenomenal speed and quickness, besides tremendous talent and intelligence. But so many of these stories that we could all share, it's just part of coming out of Bishop Knoll, having opportunities. I grew up on Cameron Avenue in North Hammond. we did not have a lot of resources in our family, but that never held us back. All 7 of us kids had great opportunities. 6 of us that are still alive today pursued our own dreams and are productive members of society. And I just feel like the Catholic education we got, the education, the extracurricular things, and then the spiritual foundation again. I can't say enough about it. I'm enthused by it. Even my late wife, Annie, was a teacher in Catholic schools in Los Angeles for 20 years. And on her passing, I joined the board at a Christian Brothers school. And as you may recall, Bishop Noel was once upon a time Christian Brothers school, so continued that tradition for me. But I was on the board at LaSalle High School in Pasadena as well. So I think you just learn a little bit about something giving back when you come from a place like Bishop Noel. And I just appreciate being able to be involved with you and Lorenz and Paul.
And you mentioned Cameron Avenue and North Hammond there. We would be remiss if we didn't also throw a shout out tonight to Wally Kaspricki, who on Sunday evening will be inducted into the Indiana Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame at a Region 1 banquet here in the Merrillville at the Avalon. What a tribute for him, and well-deserved.
It's well-deserved. Wally, as you know, is a gregarious, giving guy. I've known Wally since the 4th or 5th grade. We're both St. Casimir's bruisers, so all of you St. Casimir parents, keep sending your kids here. We've got a great tradition of that. But Wally and I, when St. Casimir stopped having Polish in school, Wally and I, both of our parents, very Polish families, we had to go on Saturday mornings from 8 until noon and study Polish. Just what you want to do when you're a young man in the 6th and 7th and 8th grades. But Wally and I spent a lot of time in elementary school at St. Casimir's. And then, of course, I was the manager and trainer with the football team. Great time here at Bishop Noel. We've stayed close friends ever since. I'll be there. Kevin O'Neill. There's a lot of Kevin Knights going. Mike Knight. We're going to have a great time on Sunday evening celebrating all the success for Bishop Noel graduate Wally Kaspricki.
Yeah, and he had a great career here. Was a parade All-American at Bishop Noel. Went on to Northwestern, where he worked his way up to a starting role for, I think, earned 3 letters at a Big Ten school. That doesn't happen to your typical high school athlete.
No, not at all. Yeah. And is fluent in Polish and maintains. I tell you what, folks, this is how great these communities are. On the 23rd of December, I'll guarantee you this next December, I'll be home for Christmas. We go to the Cavalier Inn and have a family evening dinner, and a Polish band will come in, and with Wally helping solicit them to come in, they play Polish Christmas carols for us, Jerry Tarka's band. And it's just part of the tradition about being around here. And that all started from St. Casimir's and from Bishop Noel. And Wally, have I maintained that friendship all these years.
So with his football playing ability, I would guess he was a little bit more of a bruiser than you were.
Yeah, he was in the 8th grade. I think he was already about 6'2", and I was 5'1". We looked a little bit like Laurel and Hardy walking down the street. It was like, why are you two together? But we had a great time, and we came from these very strong Polish families, and we were just buddies, and we always have been.
Well, we're about to close these last items here. We're in the final seconds of, so if you might be able to sneak it in there. I see the Fieldhouse is up to 1,045.
Wow.
I don't know whoever that is. Thank you very much. Sanibel Condo, 3,500. Golf at North Shore, 800.
I think those sauerkraut pierogi are still a deal, folks.
You don't do it now, you're going to run out of time. 11:30 on the liquor wagon. 655 on the Notre Dame Ohio State tickets, and
remember, every dollar from the proceeds. I feel like I'm on an NPR commercial now when they're raising money, but it's a good cause. Every dollar from proceeds tonight helps a child come to Bishop Noel with tuition assistance. There's not much better thing you can do with a few bucks out of your pocket.
That's right, and hopefully we'll make a good. Have a good bottom line at the end of the night, like Mary Ellen and I were talking about a few minutes earlier. A couple of years ago, we did 70,000. The first night we went we pivoted into a virtual platform for the first time, just a month after COVID had started, and the Bishop Noel community really stood up and came to the front. And
it's great when people step up and are willing to help with a really good mission. I always say it's really easy to think about, I want to give a few bucks to my college. it's usually a drop in their bucket. At Bishop Knoll, every dollar makes a significant impact here. That's why I stay involved. That's why I provide my donations every year. The donations that we make in support of Bishop Knoll go a long way to help these kids out.
And we are very grateful, Dave, for all you do, and and the support you give.
It's fun and rewarding to be part of this. I really appreciate you and Lorenza inviting me to be part of the mission with you.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. As our top items are now closing, it's moving on to the tail end here. We do have 50-50 coming up. That'll be pulled in a half hour. Some of you at home participated in that because you were able to mail your money in for the 50-50 raffle, and that'll be pulled at 10 o'clock. Shortly, we'll hear from our principal, Lorenza. Will give us a little talk, and we'll go from there. So Dave, thanks again.
You're welcome.
And
anytime I can help, just let me know.
All right. Have a great rest of the evening here. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And that's Dave Skabinski, class of 76, here from Bishop Knoll. We are getting close to the end here. We have our principal coming in with us, Lorenza Hada-Pastrick.
Hello, crew. Good evening, everyone.
And before Lorenza's going to talk to our crowd out here in a second, but before we do, it's great to see everybody back together.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I'm most grateful for tonight is really just being together. And I told my husband, Mike, I was like, babe, this is actually hard. It's been a while since I've walked around talking to 200 people, saying thank you, being grateful and gracious. So I guess walking around 200 people, I have to also do the same for the viewers. I think gratuity goes a long way. So thank you for those of you who have been making bids. Thank you for those of you out there in the public who are supporting our mission. Thank you for your generosity, and we pray that you know that every dollar that is given today goes directly to a student, goes directly towards a student's education here at Knoll, and really an opportunity for many of our students to kind of get themselves and their families ahead.
So we talked a little bit when Dave was up here talking a little bit about your vision. We talked about the Stream Lab a little bit. Where do you see Knoll 5-10 years from now?
I really believe that Knoll has an opportunity right now for our viewers to know the state of Indiana has been very gracious in giving parents the power to make the decision of where they're going to be going to school in the future. And that comes in the form of a school choice scholarship. So for all our viewers out there, families that are Indiana taxpayers, about 80% of Indiana Hoosiers qualify, can now decide where their monies go to support their child in education. And to me, that's a game changer. As a mother of four myself, my husband and I next year will be able to benefit from the school choice program. We send our children to St. Tom's in Munster, and they're able to take those dollars that we give through tax money to support them and support me as a parent in the education I choose. So to me, right now is a really great opportunity for Bishop Knoll to blossom, to grow, and in my opinion, to blow up. But with that being said, it cannot be done without the support of those out there, those here that have done so much, have gained so much from their Bishop Knoll education. And I think to me, as an alum myself, to give back to the community that's developed them, that helped them grow and nourish them. It's time for us to step up as alum.
And it's great to see some of the prizes that the last auction items have closed, and $3,500 for the condo down in Sanibel, and $1,200 for the naming rights to the fieldhouse for a year. And
so I also think in many ways, thank you to the people who are bidding, but also thank you to all the generous donors, Mr. Clossy, the organizations, our faculty, our staff, the people who donated these items to really give back to our students, to give back to our community, which I think is really valuable in itself. I think it's like a family simply nourishing each other.
You mentioned the faculty. Maybe you can give a shout out. You got a great team together. I mean, from
the top to the bottom. I joke with Paul. I call him my presidente. Paul is a true disciple of the mission. From the top all the way down, we really just try to do our own. Needless to say, COVID has been a challenge. COVID has really change the face of education. But I am just so proud from the top. I'm proud of our leadership for stepping up. I'm very thankful for, Jamie, who has helped me tremendously, who's my assistant principal, our campus minister who rallied to share her faith and help the students grow in their faith during this time. All of the leadership, my tech team who had to train, prepare, and be ready for whatever COVID threw our way, and our teachers, man. Our teachers really took education by the horns and continued to move us forward. And I think that shows the character of a warrior. And our teachers really led the charge on that. And our teachers being the lead, our students fell in line. Needless to say, there's many challenges that we're facing. Our students are, but to have that type of warrior pride and that warrior strength displayed throughout the hallways is admirable and reminds me as an alum how proud I am as an alum, how proud I am as a principal, how proud I am to be able to be part of this experience and kind of go through COVID with such a great team.
Well, we're proud to have you too, leading that effort, and
it's been a show, folks, but we're getting through.
I'm glad you chose your words carefully there.
Very mindful.
I'm going to turn ahead here.
Sure.
We're going to, in a second here, Lorenzo's going to address the group and those at home at the same time. And I'm just going to ask one of our guys here, Jim Rainbolt, who's helping us tonight. Do we go through these to go out there, or do we have to do a dual thing? We'll be able to get her? Okay. So we're gonna turn around here, and we're gonna have Lorenzo face the crowd. And why don't you come to this side?
All right,
here.
so I'm coming this way now.
Wherever Tony Panic, another Bishop O'Noel alum working the camera, has you stand.
So to my actual live audience now, all right, is my live audience still with me? Live audience? All right.
To get attention.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Hold on,
I got to use my teacher voice, so make the principal come out in me. Ready, everyone? Thank you. I see some response. If you can hear me, go ahead and shine your camera. I want to feel like I'm a concert, like I'm on a concert stage. Thank you. Anybody on this side have a camera? All right. Thank you, back row. I want to just begin with introducing myself. I've tried to get around and just say thank you. Thank you to everybody who's live and here. Thank you to everybody who's virtual and at home. I have been given the distinct pleasure of being principal of my school. And when I say my school, I mean that very intentionally. I graduated in 2001. And I am thankful to say 20 years out of the gates, I am here. These people are not good listeners in the crowd. I know the TV watchers are being very good listeners, so I appreciate you. But what I think the crowd forgets is that I'm a teacher at heart.
Try to do both at the same time.
Okay. All right, does this work? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay. So this year, look, I'm gonna get my auctioneer's voice on to get them. Hey, everybody, pick up your pallets. Pick up your pallets. I'm gonna need $1,000. Get your pallets. Okay? Everybody have their paddle ready? These people over here are not paying attention, my virtual listeners, so I'm gonna roll with it. Whoa, wow. I was told never to use that as a teacher. I did not do that, for the record. I wanted to just start off in words of gratitude. I want to thank the people here and thank the people at home for being here, for supporting your school. I had many people here that were supporters of the community and believe what Bishop Noel had to offer. We were able to have quite a great representation of our community leadership here this evening, which was really great. And to my viewers at home, I'm sure you're on the couch with your feet up, hopefully a drink in hand, enjoying tonight's events. But tonight, what I ask of you is very dear to my heart. Tonight and today's events, all the bids, everything goes directly to a student. And I want to share with you, former Bishop Noel alum, Bishop Noel supporters, what the reality is of what is happening in our walls here at Bishop Knoll. The reason why I think that this is so relevant is because we are hopefully towards the end of a pandemic. The last 2 years have taken their toll on our youth. At the initial onset of COVID, one of the things that we always heard was that our students and our adolescents were resilient. And that is something that I really want to highlight tonight. Because when I look at a Bishop Knoll warrior and what a Bishop Knoll warrior can do, as I see in the crowd, and what the Bishop Knoll warriors continue to do is be resilient. In a time when the entire world shut down, Bishop Knoll Institute did not. In a year when all of the local public schools stayed closed, Bishop Knoll didn't. And in a year where everybody is panicked and unsure what to do with adolescents, Bishop Knoll has stepped up and done what it's done best. It has served the needs of our students. This year, more than ever, as principal, we have invested in students, in their counseling, in their services, in helping them with their gaps. And the reason I talk about the student is because it's not about Bishop Knoll. It's not only about what Knoll does, it's about who we serve. And our students, what people don't know, is that when the world shut down, Bishop Knoll warriors went to work. They were the ones filling up the grocery stores with goods. They were the ones working at the local restaurants. When I asked my seniors who has a job, many of them continue to serve their community. And many of them continue to serve their community because they want to attend Bishop Knoll. The investment, fancy. The investment of our students' time in working because they know that Bishop Knoll provides them an opportunity. And my voice to you is a little different this year because I often have an auctioneer. I'm going to ask you in the virtual world and those of you present to consider making a donation directly to the Principal Scholarship. This Principal Scholarship goes directly to students who meet high merit and have need. If you are so capable, I ask you to consider to give $1,000, $500, $250, $2, because every dollar given is maybe an hour that my student can spend studying instead of working. The resilience that has been shown through COVID is admirable. The resilience of the leadership of Bishop Knoll during this time, but specifically my teachers that have stepped up to serve our community. The resilience of our students who have stepped up to do for their families what is needed to continue to thrive. Resilience comes in a lot of different forms, but I am happy and proud to tell you, former warriors, supporters of warriors, that our school has withstood a pandemic in our century year of celebrating serving Northwest Indiana. So I ask you as supporters to consider a donation in any amount that you believe you can give, to please consider and know that every dollar given goes directly to resilient students who have proven themselves to be warrior strong. So thank you. I love that, but I like it more when you guys clap. Please consider, if you go to your homepage and at the bottom, you can give a direct donation based off where you feel you can give as a family member of Bishop Knoll. Thank you so much. This is a different feel. be mindful. Yeah. So for my viewers at home, I just want you to know the way that you are able to give is if you go to the Give Smart homepage, you scroll to the bottom, and once you scroll to the bottom, you have the opportunity to give in the quantity that you are capable.
And that's, again, at bigevent2022.givesmart.com, and you can get the donate button and just go and give the amount that you are so willing to give, and we are so ever so grateful that you can do that.
Right, and one of the things I always try to tell, families when they give is you give what you are capable to give. No donation is too small or too large. And know that this event, Paul, unlike other events, this goes directly to the kids. Right. And I think that has added value, undoubtedly.
Yes. It's 100% of the net proceeds go right to help students and their families, and we are here, that's what we're here for. We're here to help those students not only afford it, but get them through, give them the best formation that they can get on the high school level, and make disciples and set them for the future, and send them off to success. Monsignor Samancic always says, we need Bishop Knoll. He says, because that's where our future leaders are coming from for our church, for our parishes, for our community. He says we need Bishop Knoll because that's who's going to lead us 20 years from now.
Right, and one of the things that I constantly say as when we discuss resilience is the story of when Jesus came out and the waves were crashing down on the apostles, and Jesus reminded them that they were safe with him and they were able to walk on water. And I really believe that the resilience and the crashing of the waves is exactly what our children have experienced, but they've been resilient, and they've kept their eyes focused on God and on their focus on their dreams, and they're coming out ahead thanks to their resilience, but also thanks to a lot of people who have donated and stepped up.
And I think the proof in the pudding there is to see what our students do when they leave here.
Absolutely.
And they go on to do great things. They go on to, academically to great schools with great scholarship money, and they're making a difference.
Right. And when you look just from a straight investment perspective as a parent, I'm a parent, so I run my numbers. These students are coming out with easily college covered when you're looking at over $70,000 in scholarships per student. Because of what they do here and their hard work and their grit and what they learn through our programs.
And that's been the average scholarship offered to our graduating seniors over the last few years.
Absolutely, which I think speaks volumes to what occurs in our hallways.
When we see recent graduates come back, I like to ask them how well prepared were you for that level, for that college curriculum?
Sure.
And invariably, it's always, yes, I was well prepared. And often I hear, I know I was well prepared because my roommate struggled more than I did.
Right, and actually our students that are currently taking courses during the school day, I ask them, do you feel prepared for your class? And they're like, Miss Patrick, we got this. You guys did what you had to do. And that's a good feeling, knowing that we're preparing our youth from Northwest Indiana to take the next level collegiately. Do what they have to do, get their degrees, and then come back to serve the community is exactly what Bishop Knoll Warriors do.
Well, I want to thank you for all your efforts, and I think we're probably pretty close to wrapping up our live stream, and the party will still go on.
Yeah, the party goes on here. See, that's why you come to the event, because we're about to get the DJ out, we're about to dance, it's about to get serious. That class of 1982 that was trying to disrupt the show earlier, they're about to hit the dance floor. So thank you all so much as a principal, as an alum, as a mother. Thank you for everything that you do to support Bishop Knoll. Know that this event goes directly to the students, our students that have shown resilience through this difficult time, and just know that every dollar matters to them and helps support their families and them in attending a Catholic quality school.
So the website is still open, even though the live stream is going to shut off here. The website will remain open for you to donate and make that donation to help the kids. And we are very, very grateful to all of you who joined us, both here in the Fieldhouse tonight and at home, and for all you do for Bishop Knoll. And we wish you the best. God bless. Have a great weekend. And it's hard to believe May is almost here.
Ooh, can we get some sunshine? That's all I have to say here in the Midwest. For all you other people who have great weather, good for you, but we're still waiting for the spring to start. And if my children are still up, go to bed.
Very good. Yeah. Lorenza, thank you to all of you watching at home. God bless. Thank you, and let's go Knoll.
Amen. Thank you.